Poultry farming is one of the oldest agricultural practices carried out in Kenya. The chicken breeds are either reared for home consumption or business purposes. Its main advantage is that as a form of business, it can be practiced both on small-scale and large-scale farms, making good money. In our previous episodes on poultry farming, we have visited several farmers who have succeeded in the poultry business by starting small or big, the risks and challenges they have faced, and how they recoup back into the business. On today's episode, we will dive into how to get started in poultry farming and the key considerations a poultry farmer must know. Talking to Dr. Subiri Obwogo, a doctor by profession and the founder of Kienyeji Kenya, he has interacted with over 1,000 poultry farmers in the past 5 years and assisted many in the poultry business. He starts us off by elaborating on what you need to know before setting up a poultry farm.
The first thing is you need training. Having the right knowledge and skills is very, very important. Because normally say if you don't study poultry husbandry, the poultry will study you. You need basic knowledge on things like vaccination, how to put up a housing. You need basic business skills or record keeping. You also need to understand things like brooding, if you're going to start with the chickens. You also need to understand the marketing outlets, who are your buyers. So these basic skills are important, which can be acquired through training. And I think second thing is you need some finance to basically, if you're going to grow your poultry enterprise into a big business. And of course, networking is very important, particularly in terms of marketing and expanding your enterprise.
After attending trainings and learning from other successful poultry farmers, formulating a business plan will be of utmost importance in running your poultry farm.
I think the first thing I would say, start small. Start small. Don't start with, let me say, 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 coupons. In fact, even 1 or 2 are good enough. Because when you start small, you are able to understand some of the concepts you learned in class. You'll understand disease control, you'll understand vaccination, you'll understand some of these concepts. I think the second thing is network. If possible, work with other farmers. If possible, form a group. Don't start it alone. And then, of course, as the business grows, then you can expand. You can start looking for funding. You can also start doing big numbers. The other thing you need to think about is feeding. The cost of feeds is actually very, very high. So we advise farmers, if you can learn how to make your feeds, the savings are quite significant. But also, we also make feeds for farmers, and our products are geared to be affordable for ordinary farmers. But I think also the cost of feeds can be quite prohibitive for many farmers. So it's important to, if you can learn to make them, it's very good. If you can learn to also work with others, it can also help in terms of offsetting your costs.
Next, decide on whether you want to rear poultry layers, broilers, or Kienyeji poultry birds. Layers birds are mainly kept for eggs production, broilers are reared for meat production, and Kienyeji birds are reared for meat or eggs.
Issue about the various improved Kienyeji breeds. I think, let me say, there's no good or bad breed. It just depends on your target market and your experience. From our experience, we mainly do the local ones in the village plus the carry improved Kienyeji. And the reason being, carry improved, unlike the others, don't grow very fast and they don't feed a lot. The challenge with some of these improved breeds like broilers and Kenbro is they're heavy feeders and they add a lot of weight, meaning then that you end up spending more money on feeding it. And sometimes if you don't sell it early enough, you end up losing money. And the other issue we've realized from a marketing perspective, when a chicken is very big and very heavy, some people shy away. So it just depends on the characteristics. But in terms of, for example, eggs, Kenbros and Cruella will give you more eggs.
If you invest in Kienyeji and the broiler breeds, the weight of the bird matters to get a good market value.
For curry improved, normally they should weigh about 2 to 2.5 kilos by about 5 to 6 months. Generally in the market, customers prefer a chicken less than 2 kilos. When a chicken is too heavy, more than 2 kilos, 3-4 kilos, many customers, particularly in the urban areas, shy away from it. So if you're going to sell a chicken for meat, please let it be between 1.5 to 2 kilos. When it's too big, you'll have a problem. Because also if you look at the price, there's a limit to how much money customers can pay. So if you're going to have a chicken which is 4 kilos and it's going for 1,500 shillings, and a chicken which is 2 kilos, the same amount of money, it makes no sense for you to raise a very, very big chicken, because people wonder whether I need to buy a goat or whether I need to buy a chicken. So I think there's a limit in terms of weight from the market perspective.
A well-designed poultry house will guarantee safety of your poultry birds. The housing system will depend on the poultry breeds you have chosen for your business. Dr. Subiri elaborates more on what you should consider when constructing your poultry coop.
There are 4 basic principles in terms of housing. One is the space. You want adequate space for your birds. So if, let's say, you want to do 100 cuckoos or 1,000 cuckoos, the space is going to be important. If you are doing, let's say, chicken or the commercial layers, you require at least 2 square feet per bird. If you're going to do broilers, you require at least 1 square foot per bird. The second thing is the floor. Make sure the floor is at least cemented. And that is from a biosecurity point of view. It's easy to clean and disinfect a floor which is made of cement than one which is made from, let's say, soil or even earth. I think the third thing about housing is you protect the birds from excess of weather, that is either sunshine or even rain, meaning then that you need a roof above it and a wall. And if possible, the wall, we advise, if you can, avoid wood. Okay, if you can use stones or metal sheet, you're better off. The challenge with wood is actually infection. It can get very infected. The last thing is ventilation. You require adequate ventilation. So don't build a house whereby you have blocked all the sides. Have some wire mesh on one side, because you require fresh air to move in and out. If you block most of the sides, so much ammonia accumulating in the house, and then when the chicken inhale the ammonia, they like to die. Basically, the first thing about space and ventilation is we look at the measurements of a house. We normally say the width should not be more than 6 meters. It can be as long as you want to make it. But if the width is more than 6 meters, you're going to have a challenge with ventilation. And the reason is because when it's too wide, the ammonia is not able to get out of the room, so it stays within the room, so the birds continue inhaling it. Of course, the other issue about ventilation is you don't want direct sunlight getting into the room throughout. So normally east-west orientation is good, depending on your land, how it's stretched and where you're putting the farm. You also don't want direct rainfall getting into the house. So the way you do the roof and the way you do the canopy must prevent water from getting into the house. Of course, the wind also, you don't want direct wind, okay, hitting directly into the, if you know the direction of the wind. because sometimes some infections can be spread just through that movement of the wind and everything. So those are things we need to sort of take care of.
The material used in constructing a poultry house depends on one's locality and affordability of local available materials, as Subiri highlights.
We normally advise use what is available locally. You could even build your house using mud and sticks, if that's all you can afford. But as I said, if possible, the floor must be cemented. I think the second thing, you can also use iron sheets. It works very well. But if it's a very cold area, you might need to insulate the inside of the iron sheets, because you'll see like our brooding system, we've used iron sheets, but the walls are covered using sacks to ensure that you don't lose a lot of heat. You can also use stones, although it's a bit expensive, maybe just 1 meter high, then the top part you can use iron sheets. And of course you require wire mesh, because wire mesh is important for air to sort of get in. Not all the sides, at least if you're in a very hot area, 3 sides. If you're in a place not very hot, at least 1 side, the front. You need some wire mesh so that there's fresh air moving in and out. So those locally available materials come in handy. Of course, iron sheets for the roof, because then your birds being rained on, that can be very dangerous.
We are taking a short commercial break. We will be back with more.